Welcome to Boostable Radio.
No, we're not doing this. No.
Oh, welcome to Cruelcible Radio.
No.
You guys suck. It's the Festival of the Lost and time to trick or trials. I'm your host, Bones. With me, as always, is Zombie Brain Stash and...
Don't do it. Don't.
Scaremus Birds.
Oh.
Stop the recording.
Clout is here too. Get spooked.
Spooky.
Spooky.
Wax on, put tracks on packs, attacks on track.
Crucible Radio.
Yo, Bones, how's it going?
I'm not doing that voice.
Yeah.
It's going
Try to do
great.
that every episode.
It's going great despite what you just said. Swain, how about you?
Doing pretty good. How about you, birds?
I'm doing wonderful.
Okay, all right.
This bit is over.
Ooh, out of my system. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on This Week in Crucible Radio, a show where we talk about PvP and Destiny. Guys, this is episode 20.
Woo!
Talking a milestone here. We made it.
Can't believe it.
Episode 20.
I figure if we were going to, murder each other, we would have done it at this point.
Maybe Sunday.
There's still time.
Right. Only for lack of opportunity
I've
so
been
far.
waiting till we're in person.
If you've been listening to all 20, we thank you. If you are listening to one right now for the first time, we also thank you. We have loved all of our feedback and listeners and the conversations we've had with people about the Crucible, and we've been improving right along with you guys this entire time. I can say for certain that all three of us have gotten so much better since episode 1, and that's been really fun.
Yeah, it's been a great journey.
Actually, I don't think I've improved.
Because you don't play with us enough. You're just over in Rumble.
Right? Rumble pony. All right.
Rumble pony.
I don't know where that phrase came from, but I just love the sound of it.
All right.
So we've been playing Destiny for a week. Swain, what's your week in Destiny been like?
Oh, man. Just knocking out the different things. I did like a hard mode raid or whatever.
NBD.
Yeah, no big deal. Just knocked that out last night. No, mostly I've been just doing Crucible with Bones here. Trying out every single one. We've been running into a lot of weird lobbies because we kind of played late, so...
Mm-hmm.
No, it's been a weird week in the Crucible for us. Bones, why don't you elaborate? How's your week been?
I've had to kind of breathe a little bit, getting thrown onto teams with only 4 people and stuff like that. And I've been, for some reason, just trying to play so much Control because I want to get more kills. And then I actually decided, as recently as last night, to just play some skirmish, not take it so seriously, and just kind of get in the zone for 3s because I really want to be on the top of my mental game for trials. And that's something we're going to talk about a lot this week. But it was nice to just sort of dial it down, get rid of the chaos that is 6s, and realize I was rushing into the center, which I don't always try to do, and it's not a conscious thing, but subconsciously, that was the habit for the first year I played this game, like many others, was to shotgun, move as fast as I can to get as many kills as possible. And then I kind of dialed it back and realized I was getting aggressive. I'd want to, be the top on the leaderboard, bump my KD up, trying to grind for that stat that really doesn't prove how good I am or not. And then I realized I had been falling into some old habits, and I'm breaking those. Ready for trials. My mind is in a clear space, and I'm stoked for it. Birds, how about you? How's been Destinies for you?
Oh, been good. Honestly, I kind of took some time off from Destiny this week. I think it's important to take a little break and come back fresh. And the thing that surprises me is that I always come back, my first Crucible game back, I always surprise myself at how well I do. It's easy to sort of forget to take it seriously when you're just grinding out game after game after game. And just coming back and playing that first daily and wrecking because I'm so tuned into what am I supposed to be doing in the Crucible? I'm actively participating and thinking about it. And so a little time off, very refreshing, trying to get in shape for trials, get those reflexes back. I have to say, I found my sniper rifle. I've been using the still piercer, using that 1,000-yard stare, but I really decided to give the hereafter a shot. And it's not doesn't quite have that high impact. You're not going to be res sniping with it. But I'd not really connected to a sniper in year 2 yet until I used this gun. I love the scope. I love the look of it. I just like the way it feels. It feels like it handles great. It's got the great aim assist on it. Really loving that gun. And I may be taking it into trials with me. We'll see. But we'll get to that.
We talked about exotics extensively last week and gave our report card. And I'm really excited to play with more of them because, we each had our few that we liked and that we had been playing with a lot. But I realized how many of them are in the game that I haven't put enough time with, and I'm really stoked. I want to get me some of those hand cannons. I want to put some more time into Chaperone because I really think it has potential. And of course, all of those guns will change along with any future patches and as the metagame changes. So, the verdict is not final on those, and I'm excited to see which ones kind of rise to the challenge.
I might be forced into playing with Telesto for a little bit.
I hear you got yelled at on Twitter.
Just a little bit by the guy who made the gun. Just
got some feelings on him.
Apparently my report card for Telesto was wrong, so maybe I'm going to find out why.
I think all exotic weapons have something to learn about them. We just haven't had enough time with all of them. I mean, some of them only came out last week, so I think all of them deserve
due time,
attention, and due time. Exactly.
So along those lines, I do have to make a correction. I am not afraid to admit when I have made a mistake. I gave a grade last week that in hindsight is not quite correct. I gave the Chaperone an S, and thinking about it, S means a gun is truly dominant, that if you're not using it, you're missing out. And I had to think about it, and I realized that S is not quite accurate, so I'm going to take it back.
You want to give it a double S?
I'm going to pull the other direction, actually. I think the responsible thing to do is to give it an S-.
Wow.
Yep.
That took a lot out of you.
Big moves.
If you know Birds as well as we do, that was a big step for him. He does not normally, change so drastically, make these large, emotional, provocative statements. So I'm going to need some time to process that.
Savor it.
I know. Guys, I'm dealing with it, but I'm not afraid to admit when I am half a grade letter wrong.
Sometimes we all are.
Also this week, we did a little bit of recording outside of this episode.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You guys are going to be excited. We recorded the PV episode.
The PVE episode. And if you say it like in a Russian accent, the PV episode. It sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Rolls right off the tongue. Perfect for the Cosmodrome. Now, if you want to listen to the PV episode, you're going to want to subscribe to us on iTunes. If you don't have access to iTunes or you're on Android, there's a great app called Podcast Addict. You can check it out. But this is going to be a podcast exclusive. So if you want to get your hands on this episode, and you do, we talk about the raid. We talk about the story missions and the characterizations and the PvE loadouts and all the stuff we don't normally talk about on this show. Be sure to give us a subscribe and expect it to be delivered hot and fresh to you sometime this week.
Yeah, find me on Twitter so you can correct me on my lore.
Hey, for a Crucible Radio host, you got the lore pretty much down.
We have another very exciting episode coming up. The very next Crucible Radio episode you hear is going to be a little bit different than your regular Crucible Radio episode.
Yeah, remember, we are going to take a trip to Bungie, and we are going to dig deep, get some inside info, come back, report.
Those field reports, those rare Crucible Radio field reports, we should have some interesting insight from the guys you don't always hear from that, can't always vocalize their thought processes and their philosophies behind the game, and those are always really cool, and they help us get better by learning the way they approach it. So we're really excited.
And of course, we're going to be fanboying out a small percentage of the time. Go ahead, give us a follow on Twitter. Check out at Crucible Radio, at Bones_CR, at Swainstash_CR, and at Famous Birds. We're going to be posting pictures. We're going to be posting quotes and trying our best to give a look inside the company that makes this game that we love so much. So stay tuned.
As much as our NDA allows.
Get ready to sign something.
Well, this is our special Trials episode, and we're going to get to that. But first off, we have a very special guest. You might know him as the Destiny author. David Weeks is here to talk to us about Extra Life. Welcome, David.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
How are
Great.
you?
Very, very glad to be here today.
So you're hosting a special event, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Every year around November, October, there's an event called Extra Life. Like I said, November, October, we get together. You can stream for however long you want. Most people marathon it there. They do, the solid 24-hour run through whatever game they're choosing. And the Destiny community always comes together for at least 24 hours. We bring in people like Datto, Aim Assist, Triple Rec, anyone we can get in, any YouTuber or organization or gamer that wants to help out. They can help out by streaming, moderating, stuff like that. And all the money we raise goes through Children's Miracle Network, which donates to children's hospitals. And our beneficiary is Seattle Children's Hospital, as always.
Oh, cool.
This is not the first year you've done this, right?
No. This is our third year.
Wow, awesome.
Nice.
And in those 3 years, we've raised over $15,000
That is
for
fantastic.
Seattle Children's Hospital. And our goal this year is about 10 grand. We hope to smash that.
I think we can do it.
Yeah, I think we could do it too. Last year our goal was 7,000. We raised about 12.
Wow. That's amazing.
I'm hopeful for this year.
So you mentioned a few names. Who else is going to be participating aside from Crucible Radio?
Well, let's see. Yes, besides the wonderful folks at Crucible Radio, wherever they are.
I love those guys.
Let's see. Guardian Outpost. I'm naming these off the list in order. Guardian Outpost, the folks at Team Resolute, of course. Mesa Sean, Destiny Follower, Mcashed, my buddy Def Del, Aim Assist. We got the ladies from Sweet Scope coming on. Ignite, Datto, Guardian Radio, Crucible Radio, and my clan, the GTL Outlaws, is going to be on after you guys. Then we got my friend Lady Desiree, who made a wonderful piano arrangement. If you haven't checked that out yet, it's very,
For sure.
very good. Folks at PlanetDestiny, Triple Rec, Dungeon Protocols, and then we have Guardian 1 finishing up. And we also have the Dames somewhere. We just got to find their specific spot. But that's everybody who's streaming as of this moment in time.
A lot of great people on there.
Yeah, tons of great people. A lot of great community members who all provide awesome services and are just really entertaining folks to watch. We're really excited to participate. Yeah, we have a time slot Sunday the 8th. We'll be then on there at 9 a.m. Central Time, and Swain will be guiding us through some Destiny experiences. We're just really stoked to be a part of it.
Probably do a little this and that. Maybe some PvP. We're going to do some PvP.
It's kind of a thing we like to play.
Wait a minute, that's why you guys are called Crucible Radio? Shoot.
Oh, yeah.
Just figured it out.
This is putzing around in the Cosmodrome Radio.
Hanging in the tower.
So we're gonna try and have some fun things planned. We may have a guest joining us. We're gonna try and have some good gameplay. But above all else, please come check this out. Watch the stream. And if you're in a position to do so, make a donation. This is for a really good cause, and we want to see you guys blow last year's record out of the park. I think we can do it. We'll try and do our bit. So come and join us. This is going to be a real fun time.
David, thank you for coming on, and we're really stoked to see if we can knock that previous record out of the park.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. All the money raised goes to it can go for anything from medicine to building a new wing, or just maybe paying a nurse to stay an extra night or something. This all goes right to the hospital. There's almost no middleman. It goes to Extra Life, Children's Medical Network, and then it's there. So it's one of the most direct ways to help without volunteering. Because not everyone could just fly to Seattle Children's and give up their time. So if you're able, come donate. If not, you can of course promote it too. We have plenty of T-shirts to buy as well. Any way you want to help, you make an impact.
We'll make sure we have all those links on our Twitter.
If people want to learn more, see the schedule, and find out how to donate, where can they find out more about this?
Well, they can go to my Twitter profile at Destiny Author. I have everything right there. If not, we do have a community focus coming up on Bungie here within the next week, so you can check that out as well whenever it comes up.
Awesome.
All right. Well, David, thanks so much for joining us, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, you too, guys. Thanks again.
See you on the 8th.
But on to the main attraction. This weekend, we've all played Trials for the first time in a very long time. We had to wait, but it was worth it. You know, the shadow shot has been put in check. People aren't going crazy with that anymore. The competition has been increased. We've got to change to the way matchmaking works. And now we've got some Year 2 weapons and gear to throw into the mix. You know, the meta has changed, and it's no longer Thorn versus Last Word. So it's a whole new world.
It's back upon us. Things are changing.
I said this a little bit earlier. Trials kind of changed the way all three of us think about the game. I definitely immediately started getting into PvP when it came out because it was like, why can't I do this thing? I want to be good at this. So I'm sure there'll be a ton of you out there that'll be doing this for the first time and trying to get better just so you can get to the lighthouse.
And the lighthouse is harder to get to than ever. We've got an announcement straight from Derek Carroll. Previously, Trials was purely based off of connection. They wanted to match you up against a fresh team with a nice lag-free connection, have that smooth 3v3 experience. But this year, it's a little bit different. You're going to be matched up against people who have a similar number of wins on their passage. So that first match of the ticket hopefully is not too tough. But the closer you get to the lighthouse, trying to get that flawless run, the more you're going to be running into teams that are just as eager to get to the lighthouse as you are. So expect some stiff competition, and expect those lighthouse trips to maybe be a little bit rarer than they were last year.
So we talked about which exotics we like. We've also mentioned some of our favorite legendaries. Hawksaw. Talking the three of us, say we are on a ticket together, which we definitely plan on doing quite often. How do we feel about our own loadouts? How are we looking at our position on the team? What kind of roles do we fill in Trials? Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been playing around lately with 2 different loadouts. The first one is my Sunbreaker loadout. Mob up the whole map.
As they do.
That's with Hawksaw, 1,000 Yard Stare, and just got a new Truth, the Year 2 Truth. So woo! That's my exotic, and that's my heavy setup. But I also been playing around with the Defender Titan with no backup plans and a shotgun. I'm not the best at it yet because I'm still adjusting to the way the playstyle is. The run and gun, get your shotgun kill, get your overshield up. I will tell you, it is extremely effective once you get it going. Once you get that overshield going, you're like really, really hard to kill. And I am prepared to run into the Trials and be able to switch between both as needed, because I am a decent sniper. But if that's not what we need in the moment, I am prepared to switch. What about you, Bones?
You know, that kind of makes me feel like, thinking about my own loadout, that I am a bit more confident now than I was back in the day. And back in the day, as in a few months ago in year 1.
Back in my day.
But I fully plan on trying out both Stormcaller and Sunsinger. I do know my Sunsinger setup very well. I'm really comfortable with it now. As I mentioned a while ago, it's kind of what I settled on in the last month of the first year. And I just fell in love with Void Fang and those super burn grenades. And they're still good. You know, they dialed it back a little bit, but I still love them. So I'm definitely going to be rolling with that. But I am interested to see how Stormcaller plays in that highly competitive area where your super is everything. And, you know, sometimes teams count on that Warlock self-res, but I don't like self-resing. I love throwing people off and charging in with a super. I think I'm going to use arc bolt grenades more than the storm grenades. That's not always my decision, but it just feels good. I like being able to tap exactly where they are and, you know, quickly do damage when I need to. And those will definitely come through. And then I think I'm just going to, you know, get that Talalak going because I am a Warlock.
Yeah,
the thing is a monster. And you hold on to your super more because it's more about timing it when you're using it as opposed to popping it quick to get the most kills. So I'm pretty excited. I think the Warlocks are versatile, and I look forward to trying out a few different things.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be more scared of Tlaloc and the Sunsinger build than I am anything else.
Yep.
I kind of expect that we're going to see that Sunsinger build in particular really as a mainstay of year 2 trials. I mean, Sunsinger with the self-revive was such a staple of year 1, but now they have a gun that really puts them in dangerous territory in sort of the second half of the matchup once that super gets charged. I wouldn't be surprised to run into a whole lot of teams with at least one of those Sunsingers. Personally, though, I guess I kind of see it this way. You know, playing a role on a team is key, and having a good synergy with the different roles and the different classes on your team is important. But Trials is all about staying alive. You know, for me, Trials was really my introduction to sort of serious competitive threes. You know, played some skirmish, played some salvage, but I felt like a lot of people were sort of learning the fine art of revives and revive sniping and revive countering and revive overshields coming into Trials for the first time. And I want to make sure that I'm just playing the loadout that I feel the most comfortable in, and I feel like I can do the most damage to the team while doing the best I can to stay alive and support my team. So I'm going to be putting away the shotgun this year. I think we're going to see shotguns really dominating in the hands of Titans that have that mobility. As a gunslinger, I'm not going to pull that shotgun out. I will be running the Hawksaw. It's a great gun. I love it. Love the way it feels. Although I may be switching it up with that Nerwin's, depending on what map we get. I've really been loving the Hereafter. It's just a great feeling gun. I'd mentioned it earlier. If not that, then I'm probably going to be pulling out my Still Piercer. And in that heavy slot, I'm probably going to do that thing where you switch to an exotic for that one. Truth is just too effective, and it's one of the only reliable ways to get 4 rockets out of a box. There's a lot of great rocket launchers in year 2 with great rolls that there's one you can even buy from the vendor. But you just can't pass up getting 4 rockets instead of the 2 or 3 you might get.
I'd also like to jump in here and remind everyone of the best strategy for heavy is to not even use it. Go to theirs. Kill them all.
Those supers charged up and push. All 3 push.
You know, I think in standard 3s, I'd never want to use the Hereafter, but really thinking about it, the sniping and the revive sniping game can often be reactive. You know, you got to kill and then you're waiting for them to make a move and you're waiting to pull the trigger. And a smart player can throw you off by stepping in front or even pushing the res. And if you're using something with strong aim assist, you've got hidden hand on, then your scope is getting pulled left, and that's a good move. But that Hereafter, if you're anticipating and you are making the attack, then you get that glow, and that really throws them off because that can keep them away from a res just 5 seconds longer, allowing for your teammates to push. So we'll see how it goes. I really do love res sniping. I love hitting a body shot when someone's barely damaged and getting the kill. But in the right hands, it could be a deadly gun. So I'm excited to see you go to work with that.
You know, that little bit of blinding, you got to hit the headshot for it. You've got to make it happen. But just that surprise of it can give you a little edge, a little bit of hand in the mental game that is Trials. And that's such a big part of it. I feel like going into year 2, I'm much more prepared for really tackling that side of Trials, not just hitting headshots and running to the right flank, but really trying to be present in every moment and outplay and outthink the teams that we go up against.
Speaking of outthinking the other team, we have talked pretty extensively as of late about our mental game with sports psychologist Steve and just strategies and things like that. It all comes back to your mental approach to the game. And with Trials, that is just more crucial than ever. It's all about communication, staying calm. If you are an aggressive player, fueling that towards, playing better and not taking it out on your teammates, that kind of thing. There's so much that goes into the game besides your hand skill and how quick you are with your thumbs.
Yeah, I know one thing that really stuck with me that sports psychologist Steve talked about, and I love calling him by his full name, which If you look on his birth certificate, it says sports psychologist Steve. He talked about having self-talk, and there was one particular mantra that he used that really stuck with me. I mean, it's very easy to sort of get caught up. If you make a bad play, you end up getting taken out and get pulled out of the moment. And you're thinking, oh man, I blew it, took my team down, or, he shot me through the wall, totally unfair. The important thing there is that you're not focusing on what's happening right now and getting ready for what is about to happen. So kind of having that mantra you can come back to. He said, 1 shot, 1 kill. And as I was sort of warming up my sniper game, trying to really land those headshots, that really stuck with me. It's easy to feel the pressure, you feel the adrenaline, and maybe take that shot a little bit before it's ready. If you have to wait just a tiny fraction of a second longer in order to line up the perfect shot, that's guaranteed. Doesn't matter if they, hit you with a body shot in the meantime. If you can really stay focused and get that kill, that's key. So between rounds and in the thick of it, when I'm just trying to stay present, wait for them to come around that corner, I'm going to be telling myself, 1 shot, 1 kill.
One thing I've been working on is setting my controller down when I'm dead and breathing. Obviously, I don't want to do it too often during trials because I might get revived, but I think it's a very good technique, and I've been practicing it as much as possible, even outside of just playing video games. If I want to calm myself down, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, right from the bottom of your gut. It's helped. It's helped me calm down. It's helped me get over the rage of, a good player that's just dominating and shotgunning me or sniping me from, God knows where. And I think it's a good technique. I think we should carry it over into trials. Maybe between matches, if you had a bad match, you offed your trials, your card. Maybe just take a minute, set down your controller, get your breathing going, get back into the right mindset. He also mentioned just stepping away. It wasn't from him, but one of the great things I learned was in my time of gaming is to find something that's 20 feet away and look at it and stare at it for 20 seconds.
The kitchen.
Yeah. Look at something that's 20 feet away. And this helps for if you're on those long gaming sessions, if you're on the world's longest trials ticket, in between matches, just take a moment, look at something that's 20 feet away for 20 seconds, and it helps readjust your eyes and get you back into like, oh, I'm this is a video game, it's up close, and, kind of resets the way your eyes think.
Swain, would you say that your heavy breathing has intensified?
Breathing intensified.
Too extreme, guys. Way too extreme. Thinking about when we had Leon Young on, he made a comment that really stuck with me that, we're seeing a lot of domination in trials from teams that aren't necessarily made out of the very best players, but they work really well together. They've got the communication up. They all seem to be on the same wavelength. And if you can make sure that every encounter is a 3v1 or a 2v1 or a 3v2, that can make up for not having the best sort of twitchy gun skills in the world. What are you guys thinking about sort of looking at the bigger team picture?
I'm definitely looking at some advice from Fizz and trying to find my setups. It works in this environment as well. You kind of want to find where you can hold down a section of the map and kind of be at the advantage when you're going into the match. So I'm really taking that to heart and trying to go into it with my teammates. Not so much as the leader, but knowing my position, knowing where I need to be standing, know what side of the map I need to be locking down. Because if we work in tandem, it will work out great. You will be able to see where everybody's coming. You'll be able to identify on your radar if someone's sneaking up for the flank. It's definitely something I will be at the forefront of my mind going into trials.
I think there's a few opening moves that got really common in trials, and it always depended on the map. They always changed from weekend to weekend, but one thing that was consistent was where the 3 people first went when the round starts, and most of the time that's together as 3, which is a very valid thing to do. You also saw a lot of sending 1 to flank, which I also did quite a bit. But I think there's strategies and openers and positioning things that can be learned only by communicating, that where you can enhance those opening strategies. And that involves, a lot of practice at first, but the best teams do it subconsciously because the best teams predict the other team's opener and they time grenades. So, maybe I'm just throwing an arc bolt out to find out where he is, but I know my teammate is hard scoped on that area. He sees the tick of damage, he knows the guy's going to run out, and he gets the body shot kill. And that's just teamwork at its best. And I think that can definitely be reached with a team that is comfortable communicating and a team that has a little bit of trust. And I feel it comes up once a week, but there's the issue of playing on your own. And of course, sometimes you just want to play on your own. I do plenty, but you can never reach that without communicating.
So of course, when we're communicating as a team, I mean, keeping that chat nice and tight. So, we're not complaining about, this guy just shot me, or, talking about what we're going to have for dinner, but doing good call outs is really key. And part of that is having good names for all the different spots on the map, having some sense of a plan going in. So if I say, all right, he's coming around the corner, where I am, where I'm looking, and what corner I'm talking about. But I find one thing that I'm often saying right at the beginning of a round is, all right, what's the play? What's the play? What's the play? And I've kind of found it's really too late to be saying that once the round is started.
People are moving.
Yeah, people are moving. And so, I've found, you play with different people, you play with different groups. Every group's got their own dynamic. But it's a great thing when one person can really step up and really call the play. And, they're not bossing you around. They're not calling the shots, but they're going to choose the move, sort of playing the chess game with the captain on the other team saying, all right, well, he thinks that we just sent 3 here last time, so he's going to expect me to send 1 to flank on right. So I'm going to send, all right, let's have 1 flank mid and 2 set up on the left hallway. To sort of make the decision. It's almost more important just to be decisive about it than to have the perfect play. If everyone on your team is on the same page, you're going to have a big advantage over a team where you figure, well, I want to go this way. I don't care what they do. I'm going to run over here. You find yourself getting into trouble, and by then it's too late to start asking for help.
At that point, if it's too late and you're dead, I want to go back to like something we talked about in maybe like the first or second episode. Talking about you being useful when you are dead. I think that's a big key part of, everybody gets knocked off every once in a while in trials. You run out into the sniper lane, you don't even think about it. But becoming useful at that point is a huge deal. I feel like I kind of apply that. I end up dead quite often when playing with Bones. And I feel like I'm able to convey where they are to Bones so that he can get that, clutch, 3v1 wipe.
Oh, definitely.
Just being able to say like confidently in the least amount of words where the person is. And one of the best things I could say is like, because I know that my teammate is watching a door or watching a turn, and I can see that red body off in the distance. I can say, all right, and now. And I know the moment that, like, I know from my mechanics that if I was sniping that door, I would be wanting to know when he's coming around and be able to like grab that headshot, just scoping it at head level. Just being helpful. Like that's the key there.
There's so much that can come from your reaction, either detailed like that or just the way you emotionally respond to dying. And sometimes you're letting off steam, or this one guy's been sniping you all day and you're just like, oh, this dude cannot get away from his still piercer. Most of the time that's fine, but it doesn't help your team in any way really, and you're just sort of taking up time when you could be doing call outs. But sometimes you just want to react and let out that instant emotion, and it can be helpful because you can, I don't know, laugh about the fact that you just died, or you can just be like, that from that box again, and I might know what you mean. Or you can just be like, oh, I am not doing it, or you can even make fun of yourself. And that, in the moment, I love when I'm playing with funny people who are having fun, because then I lighten up. I try to make my own joke. My mind is taken off of the tension and the sweat right now, and I'm trying to, you know, be fun and entertaining to my friends, and then I'm getting in that flow zone, and I don't get into a flow unless I'm just having fun and laughing at the same time. So there's just so much that comes out of your immediate reaction when you just died that can better your team or assist them in the exact moment in many ways. And I don't know, just raging isn't really the best option there.
So we have a question from, I think it's Les Geek Gaming. No, it's from Mitt. Yes, what should a healthy expectation be for a mediocre player who regularly made it to the Lighthouse heading into Trials of Osiris this weekend? Mitt adds, this is a great question. Address this one, but give me credit for it. So
good question, Mitt.
Great question, Mitt.
Or less/Mitt.
Less who?
You know, I think one thing to really be mindful of this year is the change to way passages work, how even once you have your 9 wins, you're going to keep on playing. And the fact that you're going to get matched up against more and more competitive teams as you go. I'd really encourage everyone, if you can make it happen, try and get your ticket in as soon as you can in the weekend. You know, I'm not quite sure how the mechanic works, but I kind of suspect that come Sunday night, there's going to be a lot of teams who have made it to their 9 wins, and they're just going to be wolves waiting for you once you hit that 9-win mark. So if you can get out in front of them, try and beat them to the punch a little bit, and get yourself an early matchup, I think that's something to keep in mind. But we also know that we're going to be getting some great gear this year, some high light level gear with some great rolls on it, even before we go to the Lighthouse. So even if you just win a couple rounds, you still have got an opportunity here. You know, Lighthouse is great if you get there, but that's not really what Trials is about, right?
Kind of is.
Well, so it sure is nice, but I know I've had Trials tickets where we went 8-1, or
and still had a great
we got
time,
real
though,
close.
right?
But yeah, you know what? I competed. I felt like I challenged myself. I know I made some great plays, got some montage reel stuff, and I know I'm going to be that much better of a player for next week. There's always another Trials ticket.
I actually do have some advice for the player who is not just supremely confident in their skills. There's plenty of people who go in and just wait to see what happens, knowing that they're going to come out on top. But one thing I would suggest is to not get caught up in the other team's stats and loadouts. There's these really awesome tools like Destiny Trials Report that, you know, give you everything you need to know. And that's important to know. Those are incredible tools, and the developers behind those are really awesome for providing such a service. But you got to know what to look at. You don't want to get caught up in their win streak or their KD in Trials. There's plenty of good players with mediocre KDs, but they're great. It's because they play competitive all the time and they're playing against good people. And there's a lot of people who can, you know, kind of farm their stats, if you will. And I think one thing to worry about is getting caught up in, oh man, this guy's good. And you don't want to put yourself in that disadvantage for no reason. You have no idea how he's going to play in this exact moment. And you don't want to get overconfident. You don't want to be like, this is going to be a cakewalk. This guy has a 0.9. It's like, what if he's about to smoke you? Like, what if he's been really practicing and he's in the zone and just tried out a new sniper that he loves? You know, you never know. So you don't want to get in your head about what the game's going to be like until you're in it, and just react and adapt.
The truth is, all you have to do is hit those headshots. If you hit headshots and you do them before the enemy team does, doesn't matter what their streak is, doesn't matter what their KD is. If you can get yourself into the right position and land the shots that you need, that's really all that matters.
You sound like the Madden of Crucible. Well, you know, the important thing is that one guy that's got to get the ball into the end zone, and the end zone, that's 6 points. So it's a main objective. That's the main thing. So he's a good quarterback. He throws the ball. That's what quarterbacks do.
Try and boil it down. Try and give some nice soundbite advice. It's always something with you guys. All right, well, that's our advice, but we've got a guest who's going to give y'all and give us some advice on Trials and Crucible as a whole. So let's get hyped, guys. Let's get in the mood. Let's drop the beat.
My pitch closed doors, the men for open floors. The sucker switch styles, written while he snore. My paw got talons, MCs like Fridog, Styles out the pit on. My peers like Rothschild.
Hey everybody, Birds here. Thank you for tuning in. As always, give us a follow on Twitter at Crucible Radio. You can find all of our personal accounts there. We love talking with you guys. And be sure to check Swain and Bones out on stream every weekend. But I want to give a big old shout out to the people who make this music that you're listening to right now and the music that we use in all of our episodes. We're so excited to be able to feature new tracks from awesome indie artists. Of course, I got to give thanks to Sean Wonder. You guys love his beats. It's become a great part of this show. And I have to give a huge shout out to the Cabin Games label. We featured a ton of their artists on this show. Silas Black, the Ghosties, you know, those rock tracks you guys love. Richie Dagger's Crime, and the producer behind it all, Chell Nelson. You're going to hear him in all those tracks, and we're so happy to work with them. If you have music of your own you would like to hear on the show, please reach out to us. We love featuring hot new jams from indie artists. So hit us up on Twitter and tune in next week.
Silence lesson, it ain't aggression. We just stressing the youth progression. No lingo, solo dolo, community spit. Rubber grips, I'm a marksman. Verbal dart aimed at your heart. Excuse me, slow down, I walk through the rubbish of this bubblegum.
All right. Well, coming to the show, we have a guest, a repeat guest. You heard him in our interview over the Red Bull tournament weekend. He's back in a big way, and he's joining us on the show. Clout, thank you for joining us.
Hey, it's good to be here,
Thanks
man.
for coming.
Welcome.
It's nice to talk to you without loud blaring music
Yeah, and a lot
behind
of
us.
People.
Party girls.
Yeah, that was an experience. It was a lot of fun, though.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, just to get us started, tell us a little bit just sort of about your history in gaming and how you got into Destiny.
All right, well, just like any other like FPS player, my roots started from Halo. So I've been pretty familiar with Bungie games. It's kind of where my shot comes from. The way I play is very team-based. I don't ever like being like a lone wolf, kind of, feeding the other team any kills. But I played a lot of Halo up until about Halo 4, and then I started like dabbling in Call of Duty. But when I heard Destiny was coming out, I was very excited for that, but I had no idea what to expect. When the beta came out, I found my niche in just sniping, and that was just something
Sniping
I was
niche.
really good at. It was just, it was something I was just very good at doing. And being a very like dominant and aggressive player with a sniper rifle, my friends actually ended up like saying "no sniper, no clout" was kind of like the chant going around for a while.
So let's talk about sniping. I mean, sniping in Destiny, there's sort of a very specific skill set there. I mean, tell us a little bit more about your sniping technique.
Well, as far as like sniping goes, it's all about positioning, and I know it seems very cliche, and it's kind of like what everybody likes to hear or say, but honestly, like if you're in a very powerful position as a sniper, being able to open up lanes and being able to kind of put that fear in another enemy team, like if I were to hold down the right side of the map, that eliminates the entire enemy team from even challenging right side of the map. So that gives my team the entire like right side of the map to either flood or push them into mid. Like we could seriously just choke them out. It's really good having somebody dominant, with a sniper on your team. And I try to be that person. I try to like, fill that role for every team. But it's very hard to play against another good sniper because, like especially with things like the Still Piercer, the Hunter exclusive you get from the Gunsmith. That is a laser beam. Like it shoots so accurately. You stack it with a Gunslinger's Trance, you have no recoil at all. Chain of Woe is just basically giving you feeding frenzy, and it's also a revive sniper. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of that in trials. Very excited for that.
So you said you are a very aggressive sniper.
Yes, sir.
I have been trying to play that role and trying to learn that role myself.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people say that the sniper rifles have been off since the update. And I actually think that it's just utilizing them like up close because people are still using short gaze and like ambush, and those are short scopes. Do you find that like there's been a big tweak since the update?
Honestly, I haven't really felt much of a difference as far as just hitting those close range shots. I just feel like people aren't positioning correctly. To me, I just picture a very invisible reticle like in the middle of my screen, and I just try to line up, every shot in between there because no matter what, when you zoom in, your crosshairs are going to hit like the dead center every single time. I just feel like people have it's a new meta. There aren't many people rushing as there used to be. So I don't really see a need for anything like ambush or short gaze. I'm kind of like hitting a lot of medium to close range shots with basically any scope.
So what scope do you use the most?
I don't know what it's called, but I think my two favorite snipers right now are the Defiance of Yasmin. It shoots fast, it shoots hard, and it sounds like the Halo snipers. Like
Always a good sign.
Dude, it sounds so good. It's like music to my ears every time I pull the trigger. But yeah, it has very low recoil and a very high rate of fire. So you're not going to be hitting those revive snipes. You'll be hitting a lot of double taps.
Mm-hmm.
Double tapping is very good for like quick scoping because again, if you don't hit the headshot, if you're able to hit them twice in the body, like that's still awesome. You're able to close that gap and being able to push. And again, like people get so mad when they get sniped at a close range, especially in Destiny for some reason. It's like an immediate mental block.
Gotta play that mental game.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the two snipers I use don't really have specific scopes, but for a while I was using the 1,000-yard stare, and I rolled it with ambush, and I enjoyed using it with ambush.
You mentioned the quick scope technique, and I really fight with that myself because my tendency when I'm sniping is like, all right, I've got a good angle, I like this, he might pop out, and then I just kind of hard scope, and I've really been forcing myself to stay unscoped until I've really sort of made contact or I know where they're going to be and then only sort of scope in at the last second. I guess sort of, do you see yourself using a combination of those? Do you ever find yourself looking down a scope for any amount of time, or is it 100% quick scopes?
I do hard scope a lot. I have a very weird technique of sniping. I like to look into the weirdest angles. Like everyone calls them the awkward angles. I'm talking about like crouching, looking down through a corner, like on the Burning Shrine. Like I'd be sitting in top bridge, and I'll be like looking down through one of the rotating doors into like a crack of the spawn by the it's so hard to explain these maps. The outside spawn, they're special. There's like that little walkway. I'm talking about the little doorway. Yeah,
Yep.
like the perfect spot where I know their heads are gonna land. Yeah, I just kind of hit those really weird angles because those are things you don't expect from people. Like it's just hitting them by surprise and just playing the game a lot and understanding where like the majority of their heads will be as they're turning the corner. Most people don't sprint around corners because they're smarter than that. And if they do, they're basically caught with their pants down because they can't shoot back at you.
Yeah.
That's just the way I do it. I do like zoom in and unzoom a lot just to make sure that my radar is still up.
So let's say you're not in that perfect angle. You're not in a position that is your ideal choice to sort of wait them out and wait for somebody to step in line. You're sort of going up into an engagement where it's really close to a fair 1v1 situation. Are you ever going to sort of aggressively try and use your sniper in that situation, or are you going to rely on your primary if you don't sort of have the drop on them that you want?
It sounds very dumb, but I do usually pull out the sniper. If I don't hit a headshot, I'm going to hit a body. If I hit the body, that gives me enough time to hide for a second, pull out the primary, and then just challenge. Shade Step has given me that ability. Yeah, since that thing came out, I still haven't gotten the Graviton forfeit, so I've been forced to use it over Keen Scout. But being able to challenge and be able to kind of hit that quick roll out, shoot somebody, clip a kill, roll back in has been very useful. Every time I spawn, I'm always tapping Y, having that thing out just because I know I can get a lot of kills with it, and if not kills, then a lot of assists. They all go to the same place.
Yeah, that's the one subclass I haven't leveled up yet, and it's killing me because anytime someone shade steps against me, I'm like, oh, I want that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's gonna be huge in trials when you're the only target to hit. You might as well make yourself an impossible target to hit.
Yeah, it's people get very upset. Shade Step is very good in the right hands. People will either be very good with it or they'll get themselves killed a lot. Just like Blink was before it got nerfed.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It just, somebody who knew how to use Blink was able to maneuver it very well. As much as to me, it broke the game. I feel like Shade Step has that perfect balance where it doesn't give you too much distance, and you can also be shot while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the last time we talked to you, Rift was all the rage. It was right after the Red Bull tournament, and now we got Trials coming out this weekend. And I feel like I say it a lot where I'm talking about the differences between 6s and 3s, and there's some people who play one or the other exclusively. Do you have different approaches to when you're in Control and Rift versus Skirmish or Elimination?
Control and Rift, I'm like a very big slayer. I just like to dominate, put as much pressure as I can on another team while my teammates can, cap flags or grab spark. As far as like threes go, which is my preference, I absolutely love threes just because small scale has always been my thing. I've never really liked BTB when I was even a casual Halo player at like 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
I've always like enjoyed 4v4 and 2v2s. So 3v3 is kind of like my go-to. As far as that goes, like the people I play with are also very good slayers, but they rely on me to get the like in trials. If I'm last alive, it's not. It's again, it's never a good sign to be last alive, but I'm always relied on to either come out clutch or make it like a really close one.
Mm-hmm.
My approach toward 3v3s is just I enjoy supporting. I like playing revives. I enjoy like sniping and getting picks just because in the 3v3 playlists, those are all about revives. And once you kill somebody, you either force their team to push that orb to bring it back to 3v3 and get a extra few points off of a revive, or you make them stay away from it and give them no bonus points.
Yeah.
Well, so you talked about sort of that clutch moment, and I know for me, I mean, it's good that your teammates can rely on you. I don't know if my teammates can quite rely on me to pull it out, but I'm curious. All right, so let's say you're going for the aggressive flank. You figure your two other teammates have got it locked down, and they both get picked, and now all of a sudden you're by yourself, and you've got multiple red lines showing up on different parts of your radar. You don't have much time to think. This is a situation we've all been in. I mean, what's the play there? What are the first three things you're going to try and do in that situation?
Well, assuming like I normally play Gunslinger just because it's my go-to. I love the super. The entire kit around it is awesome, but the first thing I do is try to spot my first player, and I usually challenge with my primary. And if it doesn't work, and I leave him hanging, like I will either chase the kill but throw a trip mine behind me. So anybody who just try to challenge from the back gets caught off guard. Usually, if I have to jump on that first person, get the kill, and assuming this person is chasing me from behind, I get a lot of nade kills with trip mines. So usually rely on that. And then the last one, it's always pressurized. You know what I mean? Like if you're in that position where you have two people on your team alive versus one, and you see both of them go down, and this last guy is just on the prowl for you. Like we've all been in the situation where that's happened to us, where we've been clutched on, and we've also like clutched as well. But that feeling of intimidation kind of just like goes through everybody's minds, and they get really nervous and they choke a lot. So anytime I do get into like a 3v1, I feel like the first kill is always the hardest one. And after that, people are just like, fuck, like, where is he? You know what I mean? They were freaking out. They're like, oh, my God. But yeah, that's kind of how I approach those things. I just kind of take it one kill at a time and hope that they're getting intimidated after every kill.
Like you said, it's never good to be the last man alive, but sometimes when you do pull just that epic comeback and it's early on in the rounds, they suddenly have so much more to worry about as soon as the next round starts, because they know that you are capable of, playing for your whole team. And not that you want to carry anyone like that, but it just puts it in their head of like, okay, just because we have two dead, this is not over. And they start playing on their heels a little bit. So it's always fun when you get a comeback like that, but it does really impact the rest of the game.
Yeah, it really does. And it works on both sides, because you could honestly like demoralize an entire team just by like one round. Even one play can make a few people mad, and that really does affect the way they go into the next round. And as well as it also like gets your team pretty excited and pretty hyped, because after that they see you destroy three people in one round, and they feel like they're confident in their shot and their positioning as well. So everyone gets fired up. It's good vibes for the whole side of your team, and it's bad for the other side.
Definitely.
So you mentioned you love Gunslinger. What sort of setups are you running on it?
With year 2 armor, right now the only exotic I've seemed to ever get is the grips of Ahamkara.
The grasps.
Yeah, the grasp ones. Those the ones that give you the double melee. So I have 2 throwing knives. That's my go-to exotic, just because I can't really get another one. But yeah, that's my thing. I'm usually hitting all my my throwing knife hits. I use incendiary blades so that they're burning when I hit them. Over the Horizon and Chain of Woe, as far as like
perk load up.
I'm trying to think of my skill tree from the top of my head. Over the Horizon and Chain of Woe are always like switching, depending on the map I play.
Sure.
I usually use Over the Horizon for 3v3 and then Chain of Woe for 6v6, just because fast reloads are key for more enemies. Over the Horizon just for increased golden gun accuracy, hitting those cross map shots. But Gunslinger's Trance is my thing. That is very dominant for someone who has like a solid shot. every kill stacks, and you get a stability buff. That with a gun that, let's say, has like a high impact but a low stability, like at the time, the Devil You Know was my favorite gun in year one.
A classic.
Yeah, the Vanguard one too. It was actually really dominant when you had Zen Moment, Crowd Control. You stack it with Chain of Woe and Gunslinger's Trance. Like, you'd be hitting shots and they'd get stronger every time. Every kill would make it stronger, and every kill would give you bonus stability. So you were just running around, like, just three-shotting everything. Everybody that challenged you. But that's basically the kit I use. Yeah, year one, I switched between Bones of AO for that extra jump, even though I ran triple jump. I like the quad jump a lot.
Sure.
Or the Symbiote for the 4th Golden Gun shot. But yeah, for some reason, like, quick revive was never my thing. I always feel like it was like a waste of a spot,
Well, it's just better to not die in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
You
keep
have the
saying
choice.
that, though. We keep saying that.
Well, so I want to hear you talk about throwing knives a little bit, because I'm trying to figure them out. Like, the incendiary seems like an obvious choice just because the burn is such a huge boost. But I mean, for me, a throwing knife, I usually don't think about them unless I'm in a panic situation. I've run out of ammo and I'm just trying to clean up a kill ASAP. I mean, how do throwing knives fit into your playstyle?
They're more like, for me, I don't want to say it's like panic mechanism, but I enjoy it because people don't see it coming,
Yep.
Like,
It's like a failsafe.
yeah, it's somebody who's like pushing at you. It's because you'll play against a lot of shotgunners, especially in like 6v6, but you see them running in a straight line like every single time. You're just like, boop, hit them right in the head. They'll either die on impact or they'll just burn to death. But throwing knives are actually, I feel like they're very underrated. Nobody uses them, I feel like, enough.
Yeah.
Because I don't die by them very often, but I do get a lot of kills with them.
Obviously, you are a streamer. What are our audience members looking for when they come to watch you play?
I try to break down my gameplay as I play it out. I try to do a lot of live comms, although I'm not super good at them yet. Practice makes perfect, but usually my stream is just all about I just enjoy seeing people interact with each other. Like, I love interacting with my people, but as long as they're having a good time, and if they're, I guess, entertained, if anybody asks questions, I'm always free to answer them, and I don't mind playing with viewers, helping them get through anything they have to do, whether it's PvE or PvP wise. I just enjoy playing Destiny, and I want people to enjoy as much as I do. It's not about showing a showcase of skill. I feel like it's more about the interaction.
I wanted to ask you about something, because you'd mentioned it real quickly at the Red Bull tournament, but you were talking about playing Control, and you talked about a specific strategy, and you made it seem so simple, but it all happened in the blink of the eye. I was listening back to it later, and I was like, God, is that really it? But you mentioned being a Slayer and sort of providing pressure so your team can cap flags. But give us sort of the big picture strategy you're pulling when you play something when you play Control.
All right, give me a map.
Yeah, let's say
Widow's Court.
Widow's Court.
Ooh, love that map. All right, so off the break, let's say we spawn on the backside where the tank. You know what I'm talking about?
Up top, the top side.
We spawn up top.
Okay.
The first thing I do is I tell my teammates to cap home flag. I send 4 of them to cap home. I send 1 with me, and I hit the cross snipe. And it's very rare that I miss it, but it's more rare that I lose the initial gunfight at first. The first thing you want to do is, again, cap the home flag and cap B. It's very simple. It's something that you hear all the time, and from there you drop back, because the team will always go for B first. Yeah, they don't care about A. The first thing any team wants to do is control B. They feel like that's the key thing. You sit there and you bait flags. And once you start getting kills and you build your supers, you go and you cap their home flag. You hit the triple, and once they start breaking up and hitting different ones, you just kind of just run back and forth. You filter in and out. My favorite spot to hold is top castle, because you have view of the entire back and the outside of church, and the church, the cross from church to apartments, and the entire courtyard special. You have a special that's spawning right next to you at all times, and one that spawns 3 feet away from you near the maze. You just kind of sit there with a sniper and a scout, or a sniper and I'm going to say hawk saw, because that's the only gun I ever see people use if it's a pulse. That and the messenger, which is irrelevant.
Nervins is creeping up there.
Yeah, it's getting there. I've been seeing it a little more often day by day. Yeah, so I mean, that's really it. It's all about To me, it's just making them push for something and denying them so many times that they want to keep doing it. It's like holding like a piece of candy like in front of a baby. You know, they want it, but they're like restrained inside their walker. They can't get it, and they keep pushing for this flag and they keep trying to grab this candy and you just keep pulling it away and denying them.
I do want to make clear, Crucible Radio does not condone taunting babies with candy. Let's do another map. So
Okay.
I imagine same strategy applies, but I'm curious about the angles. One that I've struggled with a little bit, aside from sort of the obvious points, is the one in the Dreadnought, is that dungeons. I imagine you've got some angles that I'm not thinking about in dungeons. What's your strategy there?
This map has so many weird like drops and layers. There's a heavy weapon that spawns through this very long hall that goes into each team's spawn, I believe, and then there's a middle hallway that drops down into B flag.
Right.
The first thing I do is I like creep up that hall, and just before you go over the edge to where you're completely visible, hard aim that little tiny corner, 3 heads will run past it every single time. Every single time, 3 heads will run past it. After you hit that, you drop down into B flag because your teammates should already be there, especially if the other team is 3 dead. You run back to where that special spawns down there by B, and you watch that cross. Because they're like, okay, well, we're not going to make it inside of that heavy. Let's go down and try to contest B. And before they know it, they're getting sniped by you again. You know what I mean? Then you just kind of run back. Like, with me, I like to snipe people and then run to another spot. After you play a map so much, you understand the obvious routes, and you understand, like, what people do constantly, and you understand player intentions. Good players will shut you down half the time, but bad players will never. And it doesn't take much to become a good player. It just takes practice and consistency and really wanting to become better, because people will complain about, not being that great, and they don't put forth any effort to get better. They stay in their comfort zone. They'll still play like on Firebase Delphi, chill middle map with like a shotgun and blink around, and they don't try to adapt to a new playstyle or a new meta. It just comes with like time and experience. It just being able to predict people.
It sounds like you take a very cerebral approach to the game. You're always sort of thinking about what you're doing and trying to think about what the players you're going up against are doing. And that's so key, like constantly evaluating the actions you take instead of just sort of, like you say, being on autopilot. But I'm curious, like, are there other techniques you use to specifically improve, whether it's, watching old footage or, forcing yourself to, try and do some new strategy you're not comfortable with? Or is it really just all sort of happening on the fly and just constantly trying to think about it?
I guess when it comes to wanting to get better, you have to identify what you suck at first,
Yeah, sure.
And admitting you suck is the first step, and I struggled with that a lot. Like when I used to compete in Halo, I used to think I was so good, and at the time I wasn't. And I had to sit there and realize, like, I'm not that good at this. Like, what do I want to get better at? And that'd be my focus every day I got on. I'd be like, all right, cool. Well, I want to learn how to play Zealot Flag better. So let's invite a team and play Zealot Flag all day. You know what I mean? And it sucks since we don't have private lobbies. We can't do that here. But as far as like game types go and playlists go, I mean, you have to just kind of understand like what your play style is, because if you don't have a play style, if you don't have something that you can go to every time, you don't have a goal. It's like trying to study without a book. It's super weird because I can say I want to get better control, but if I'm playing control and I'm not trying to do anything, if I'm not capping flags, if I'm not slaying, I'm not really doing much. I'm just kind of dying the entire time. It's not going to get me anywhere. It's not going to get my team anywhere. I feel like besides having to watch gameplay over and over again, is to watch streams too, because people have a lot of different strategies. People look at the game differently. You know what I mean? It's all perspective. You can kind of see, like, I'll occasionally like drop in and out of Fizzor's stream, and I love watching Fizzor just because I've known him for a very long time. He's a very laid-back player. He sits back a lot, and I like that.
Yeah, he makes it look easy.
He makes it look very easy, And with me, I'm such an antsy player. I like to just run around, like run and gun, get a few kills here, run around to another spot, get a few kills there. I'll see, like, back during the old meta, I'd see Triple Wreck, like, hitting these. He'd always, like, amaze me, because I love sniping, and every time I see this guy pull out a sniper, he's hitting those, the blinking ones, too, like the mid-air blink snipes. I'm just like, geez, like, so I would go into control, and I'd try it, and I'd try it consistently, because I want to take these little things I see from other players, and I want to, like, make it my own. Kind of, like, give my audiences something to learn off of, and eventually there's going to be somebody better than me who's looked at me as an inspiration, and that's progression at its finest. I developed a lot of my gameplays off of it sounds very fanboyish, but Flamesword taught me how to be aggressive when I would play Halo with him back in the day.
Well, in the spirit of competition, we've got trials this weekend for the first time in a while. Obviously, it was pushed back a little bit, but they are tweaking some things. And we just read today a little bit more of a detailed explanation that basically, instead of just playing random teams throughout your ticket, by the end of your ticket, you're going to be playing other teams who are at their 8th or 9th win, which seems pretty cool to me. How do you feel about those changes, and do you think it's going to really up the competition at all?
Yes, I've been waiting for this for so long. Like everybody loves winning, but I'd much rather lose to a good team than have a 5-0 from a bad team.
Right.
And I feel like as you're playing and you're getting these wins, and you have another team that's right behind you, and they're playing, they're getting these wins, and it comes down to it, like, I'm about to go flawless against the team who's about to go flawless. At that point, you realize, like, okay, this is a real, actual game. Like, we have to buckle down and try because they're going to sweat. Like, we're going to have to sweat, too. Yeah, I'm so excited for that. It's something I've actually been wanting for a long time. I was under the impression that was happening with the first time Trials came out, but I guess it wasn't when I realized I was, like, getting to my 7th win, and I'm playing against people who just weren't shooting back.
Yeah, in a sense, I mean, this is almost... I'm sort of just realizing it. This is kind of Destiny's first ranked playlist in the sense that you're not going to be, going up against a control team with a Slayer, 2 decent people, and 3 people who are just getting started. You're going to be matched up with a team that's right at the same skill level or the same level of success on their passage, at least, as you are, which is kind of new ground for Destiny.
I'm very excited because, like, as a competitive, like, player, especially somebody coming out of Halo who's had, like, not the best ranking systems since Halo 3, but has had, like, developers dabble with ranking systems since Halo 3 and Halo Reach. I've always got, like, a kick out of playing, like, hiring people. People would get their 50s in Halo 3 and stop playing on that. Like, all right, well, that's it. Let's go play some action sack, like I was one of the players who would get a 50 and continue to play that playlist because it was a lot of fun playing against other good players, and I feel like with the progression and matching other teams that are on a hot streak like you, with so much on the line, as far as, like, going flawless and getting those exotic drops, I just really can't wait to see, like, the games I'm going to get myself into, especially now since I've been playing a lot of Halo 5. I haven't had a lot of time to do any raids for good loot, so might be a little underleveled, but hopefully it can still come out on top.
So it sounds like you're going to be streaming quite a bit of Trials. Where can our listeners find you? Yeah,
well, my Twitter handle is @Clout94. Go ahead and drop me a follow if you would like. And my Twitch TV username is twitch.tv/clout_. You got to get that little underscore in there. As much as I want to get rid of it, I don't know how to yet.
I know the feeling.
You're committed now.
I've got to befriend a admin or something. But yeah, you can go ahead and find me there. I try to stream every day at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 10 around those times. I have a really crazy work schedule, so I try to stream every day around it.
You got that daytime block locked down.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, check him out on Twitch. Watch him, slay some people in Trials this weekend. Thank you for coming on, Clout.
Oh, thank you, man. It was good to be here. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, this was great. Glad to talk to you again.
I will say too, if you enjoy spending time on Twitter, follow Cloud. Highly recommended. You will not regret it. Cool. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much, guys.
Walk the forest, take your porridge, pour it on the ground, spit raps around it, y'all.
Yeah. Now me and Silas Black always reppin' for our own. Hometown heroes setting in the throne. A tongue like a razor, suckers is clone. Elder on the beat, watch the wise ones roam. Official members bounce, bust off with the chrome. Ankles to the ears, you hear the fly one moan. Coping is hope like these jokes do provoke. Needle to the groove and slit the windpipe slow.
It's me, Bones. I'm back.
Oh, sorry, Bones. You left me no choice. I had to do it. Swain, let's close this one out.
As always, you can find us on Twitter, Crucible Radio. You can find me and Bones on Twitch, Swain Stash, and Bones is Drybones81. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Bungie.net, all of them, Crucible Radio.
Self-revive! I'm back from the dead.
Okay.
I have seen the beyond.
We're done here.
Fingertips on the
Gonna cut
insides
this
of
off.
my
Fade 'em out.
mind.
Bring the music up.
Let's get at it.
It's spooked.
But I won't go, I'm staying instead. Rap till I'm brain dead. I stare at the cliff, stalk plagiarists, ancient black. My landscape full of hand claps. Particulars get juiced up. Middleweight talker, that heavy psychopath. No idea. The enemy